trust blockchain ledger. It's 95% run by Popology for the first 10 years. And then 10 years, the blockchain is going to be run and used by the people, so it can be used for legislation in governmental affairs, which is very cool. It's a fair use reporting platform. It's about aggregation, curation, monetization of digital rights and media literacy. So I felt I needed to speak up because I love what you guys are talking about. And the power is really in the hands of the people. Corporations, they don't want you to not like them. They want you to be cool with it. They gave you a lot for free to be able to share so fully, and they want you to use their brands to, on your podcasts, which basically on a 2000 sphere, 3D sphere on a podcast, you have hours of material that you can share with your different communities and choose which commercials you'd like to have the opportunity to advertise, and they want to pay for that. So it's like the brands are bowing to you. So in the end, it's tracking true popular for the people, by the people. Interested people can back channel me or Joe Ray. He's on stage. And early signers can go to popologist.org. And Teddy, thank you so much. Joe Ray, if you're able to say a few words. You've been working on this for 20 years and for the right reasons, so I fully back you.
Hello, guys. Thank you for giving me a chance. Vessi told me this was a super hot room, and I heard some of your words, Ted. You're really on fire with this NFT and digital data premise. It's a fast evolving premise. The opportunity with Popology is, Vessi, you covered it really well, actually. The target of Popology from a universal standard is to highlight and focus on individual popular as a natural born right of ownership. Whether it's Mickey Mouse or Tide, you have access to these digital rights and can report on them like CNN or any MTV. They didn't pay for digital rights to promote. And so in this switch around, it's you running your data. You are the curator of your intake, and the output you can monetize. So, ledgering, digital rights, all of your platforms get imported into this platform, ledgered on, as Vessi said, we're creating a public trust blockchain. And the evolution of the beginning to the 10-year span is the people will literally own and operate the blockchain as a public trust ledger that is used for legislation. And if you really think about all these squabbles we have over voting rights and voting in general, who's counting, well, decentralized technology is perfect for democracy, if you will. And so the point is, popology.org has been basically the science of popular, attributing media literacy as the focus. These ones and zeros we talk about are all media. And our connection in the world today is data. So own your identity, your self-expression is monetizable, whether you ate lunch or take a picture of your cat or celebrate big events of your life that you share and curate with others. This stuff matters, and you have to be educated about it. And that's what Popology is sort of essentially creating, is a convenience to this aspect, educating you at the same time, allowing NFTs to provide utility. Essentially, a long format podcast is an NFT. So with that said, I know there's other people want to talk. I'd love you guys to early sign up on popologist.org so that when the scaling investment comes in, when we showcase our beta, we have a use base of movers and shakers and, developers of shapers of pop culture who are part of the brand. Dan
Rush from Comcast
Dan Rush
your partner.
is my...
That's a big deal.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. He's an executive of technology acquisitions at Comcast here in Philadelphia. He also owns Pay-Per-View Live Events. That's a concert streaming company that does the Kiss in Chicago and boxing matches and soccer matches. So I have the perfect partner in this venture who has put a lot of money into it to develop the platform based on he and I brainstorming for many years. And the purpose of all of this, to keep it real noble, is global inner peace. When everyone's validated and has payment of their ideas and expression, anyone can do this. We can create true, I call it global inner peace, a lot better than world peace because that's a little vague. And that's it. And so, this is something that you can really evolve with us on ground floor. Backing our technology, see popologynetworks.com has it well defined as education, well defined as blockchain, well defined as digital rights, which is give you little numbers of why and how we can wipe out poverty with our data. Digital rights, Mickey Mouse, Tide, songs, bring in a total of $800 billion a year, over that amount. And the piracy rate is something about 30 billion. And if we can recoup some of the losses in piracy, there's your standard income for the world, just that alone. And so this means that the corporations are on board as long as the people are willing to track and promote the brands they care about. So it's no more opposition to the man anymore. It's incorporate and you be the man, in an upstanding way. So that's it. I just want to give credit to the room and Vessi, and thanks for inviting me and allowing me to share our social movement and digital rights aggregation platform. We take the 2D and bring it to the metaverse. It really is. It was a metaverse before I even realized this was going to be a thing. So I'm a production designer by trade, a commercial director for large-scale Fidelity Investments and Spice Girls and Dr. Dre, and so I have a lot of experience in media, and that's it. So thank you. I could talk all day. Yes, thank you, Vessi. Thank you, Ted. I'm complete.
Thank you very much. Hey, this is Stefan. I want to throw a question in there if I can. I appreciate you presenting that. I was just curious if there's some sort of breach in trust in this sort of blockchain. Who will, I hate to use the word enforce, but outside of the people here, when something has been done, who enforces that there was this break in trust or some sort of infraction?
Great question.
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, we do have a cybersecurity firm on board with us, two of them actually. But when we're talking about break in trust, number one, the blockchain immediately is a highlighter for any type of fraud. As far as data being vic'd, in this case, our platform gives you the control of who you want to sell to. Meaning, right now, this platform, and if you've got a photo app and Facebook, they're all selling our data as we talk right now. And none of you are making a nickel. So the point of Popology is you are the broker of your content. If you don't like Nike, then they're off your list. There's plenty of companies that are interested in data, but you're part of it. We have a program called Popmercials. And Popmercial, once you curate, say, a 2-hour stream of various cross-platform content, you can place, 8 commercials in a Popcast stream, and you pick the brands. So in this case, you're picking the brand loyalty that you care about. And then the separate from that is the metadata that's collected from all of the platform as a rule, and you basically are saying the companies that you care to share with. If you have a beef with Nike, well then we're not, that's your choice. That's so there doesn't need to be a breach. Go ahead.
Okay, I really wanted to try to say, and I understand that the blockchain will highlight because we can see everything.
Yeah.
But when the highlight's done, we know that there's every platform is going to have an issue. Everything can be broken at some point. But with Popology on a blockchain, when there's something that happens that requires an enforcement of something, a legal issue, if you want to put it, who handles that for Popology?
Well, we have Dan Rush, my business partner, and our law firm.
I mean, that's to be determined, Joe Ray, as it grows and the scope grows, because that's the issue always, that the power ends up being in the wrong hands, and then everybody gets screwed.
Let's put it this way, though, and I understand the question, and I compute the fall of Rome is a cycle of life. The conversation is, the involvement of the people is what this public trust ledger is about. The strength of the community.
So you're saying piracy will be limited because it will become obsolete, because the people will be in charge of what they put out there?
On Popology, piracy is not possible. We're talking to piracy is a separate issue of trust. Trust is data being sold or taken from somebody that they don't know about. Am I correct? Piracy is taking copyright. Popology has no copyright restraint because it's a public fair use license to use digital rights in a fair use capacity. That's the same as CNN and MTV.
Hold on, you mean anybody can use anything from anyone ever created online for media literacy?
If you're educating with a true sensory of care, yes, absolutely. Well, how are you going to teach somebody the benefits of media or the issues of media if you can't illustrate the media? So,
I have something I'd like to throw in based off of what Brother Stephen was saying.
Yeah.
With data. Now, with NFTs and these signatured, authentified documents, right? Mm-hmm. Regardless if it's digital, XYZ. Mm-hmm. I'm going to move off of Popology for 2 seconds and just add in that the whole entire goal here for NFTs and the blockchain is eventually to put human beings onto the blockchain, and I'll explain why.
Correct.
Human beings interaction, the energy that we produce in our bodies, and as well as what we observe on a conscious basis off of social media and interaction conversations that are being recorded right now, X, Y, and Z. The thing is that human beings are going to be put onto the blockchain, and that is the ultimate goal, no matter what. The vaccines do have a signatured frequency that is actually propelling this information and data to be read, and it's being collected, as well as QR code authentication, as well as our IDs. Our IDs and identification is going to be, somewhat NFT'd, but that data is still going to be collected. Say police officers, law enforcement, XYZ, once they scan it, they'll have the data. It goes into the computer. They say that what they stopped you for, XYZ, they're still collecting data somewhere at some database, as well as your personal information, such as like when augmented reality comes more into place. When I look through my Apple glasses or whatever, Tesla glasses, whatever we may have at the time, your facial recognition will shoot inside the algorithm, and I'll be able to tell exactly what profile is set, what this person does, what their name is, what companies they work for, their interviews, business cards, contact information, email, whatever the case may be. This data will be collected and initially sold. Regardless, at the end of the day, everyone's data, especially if we're on social media, as a whole, as an ecosystem, is always available for someone to have their hands onto. There's no protection section where everything's guarded and protected, and there's never been such a thing. As technology advances, so do the hackers. As technology advances, so do we. Data is never protected. Our bank accounts have been hacked. Our social security cards have been traded. Our birth certificates have been traded. Our identities, even though we don't know about it, have been sold all over the place, all over the world. They're being sold right now. So,
Elijah, can I just offer something? I liked your genius thought. And again, the premise of Popology, and I know we're not going to harp on the main topic of, where I'm coming from. Every user on Popology is a living NFT. That's when we approach. It's a lot like.
That's exactly what I was saying.
No, you're very smart, and I'd like to back channel conversations with you because you seem very much ahead of the game of consideration. Is that when we go with the force, like Tai Chi, you go into it with the concept of corporations. I choose who uses my data, but you have to be a marketable deputy of corporation. And that's
why it gets back to QR codes and locked access, right? So with QR codes, the premise is some QR codes are locked. You would have to give someone the code to give them access to your information, such as if I create a QR code right now, I can push it to the sense of, let's say, Brother Stefan wants to get my information or my business card. He can take his phone out, push the camera, scan my QR code, and then I tell him the code, hey, it's 665. That's my code. Oh, okay, cool. And he types it in, and then he gets my information. That is confirm and consent to that transaction right there. And then it might have my more personal information on that too, my Cash App, my Ethereum wallet, XYZ if we want to do business with each other. And it's going to go further than that. The craziest thing is that once we start moving towards glasses and these phones are off and we're going to augmented reality, we're also going to be able to scan QR code via tattoos. We're going to have tattoos on our bodies with our QR codes and personal.
Question for you guys, though. Elijah, Joe, let me ask you a question. Because I think we're moving beyond that, if I'm not mistaken. We're moving into a well-intended state, kind of like what China is pulling off, which is we are going to quantify people's good intentions and punish their bad intentions
100%.
As a community. So I have clients that are political candidates and also in office. And I'll give you an example. I said, Jim said this. Well, I didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth. How does the crowd decide whether or not candidate A is telling the truth? Well, they go back.
I can answer that, guys. I have the easy answer here to this whole question here.
It's bigger than that. It's fishing for people using your algorithms in music and your personal intellectual property and
100%.
coming back and penalizing them. The smart contract does all that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to call a lawyer.
Thank you.
Well,
100%.
But doesn't the smart contract need to be connected to a real life reality contract? I heard in a room that
this is something totally different.
Friends,
blockchain. You're uploading your consciousness, in a sense, to the blockchain because that computer chip that you use, NFT, you programmed it to do what you needed it to do. You gave it direction. That's your thought pattern on the blockchain.
Yeah, that's your fiduciary.
Friends, there's
intellectual property.
There's a control here. Can I offer the control of how we can direct this? Okay, when the word control, by the way, is futile. Direction is essential, and the direction to stay on top of this a dystopian premise, if you will, is the joy, your joy, popular, the concept of popular. Everyone has this, okay? And what that means is sometimes it's dark, but the consensus of popular is the people. And if that's active, then this is how we keep malevolence at bay. Yes, these technologists are always going to figure out the dark, like one of you guys mentioned, the hackers are always going to be there. But the premise is stay in your joy, stay on your light, and I'm not trying to be some guru here. I'm saying that the personal popular is so large and it's so unsung. And we don't have a blockchain for popular. We don't. You know why they don't do that? Because then we know ourselves too much. And that's what Popology's commitment is.
And just to add in on what's going to go further than this, you'll see the next steps, and everything that I've said is facts. You're just going to find out for yourself. You do your own investigating, do your own research, study, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen, and this is what's happening now. As far as I'm concerned, what's also going to propel into the future as well is people's energy, right? Nikola Tesla had created devices in which the ley lines and the energetic magnetic fields of the earth our bodies actually produce the same amounts of energy. Energy is your currency. Your current, your magnetic current out of your body will actually be pushed onto the blockchain. That will be the currency in feeding these so-called assets, crypto assets, XYZ. So just like how you work and you get money, you obtain dollars or whatever you want to call it, USD, whatever. I don't know where everybody's at. But when you work, you're taking your energy and it's your labor is producing, or your mind power and your work and your hours are producing a certain type of physical asset. Now it's going to be changed to when this is going to be all solidified, blockchain and NFT'd, that when you work, you're going to be exchanging for a point system. That's all this is. It's transcending. They're just making it popular. They're making it sound trendy, cryptocurrency, XYZ. But China is, and one of the brothers had said it, China is in a point system. I've said this since I was like 6 years old. It will always go down to points if you do good deeds. And
we're on the same though. If you think about it, I love your speaking, bro. You're really, really intelligent, and I know I could brain with you for hours. I was going to say that we're still on the same point system, whether we keep track on a
100%.
And so our hearts keep these in mind, So don't be afraid of the technologies.
No, that's all good.
We got
Definitely
this.
Don't be afraid.
We got this. Guys, I got to bounce and build this platform that I've been talking to you about. So I really.
Thanks, Pop.
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Sign up to popologist.org, and I'll make sure you all have a digital wallet with some Popology coin in it to set you off. It's really gonna be huge.